So I'm challenging myself to be a good patient and be patient. Isn't that funny? I think about that sometimes, that the word patient means be patient. Mm-hmm. Is that on purpose? Have you ever thought about that?
Like, did hospitals make that up because they're the worst?
They're like, be patient. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Chronic the Podcast and our chronic community.
Hi.
That was Jamie.
Meg.
That's who we are.
Yay.
We're back.
We crushed it.
High fives.
Oh, no.
God dang it.
Thank you.
Ooh, did you hear that slap?
It was a great.
Ooh,
guys, everyone
Foley
needs to
sound.
encourage her that she needs to be a good high fiver because she is a good high fiver.
Yeah.
So once again, if you're listening with your ears or you're watching with your eyes on the YouTube, you're going to notice that things are a smidge different this week. Something that's not different is I'm back.
Hooray.
With
Well,
Meg.
technically, they will have seen you in this last episode.
We're back.
We don't know where we are on the production schedule.
We really don't.
No.
But okay, well, on that note, then from the last episode, we have changed scenery. We are in Meg's home.
This is my home.
And this is our new studio, at least this week.
Just because of technical, we're good.
No,
we're here.
Everything's better. The lighting, the space, everything is better.
You did put a lot of hard work into your space being very cute.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I feel like if I go back and listen to all the episodes, I literally hear myself do that every time. I'm okay. It's like this weird default setting. No, I'm good that you're here.
Yay.
Aww. We had a fun night last night.
We did.
Improv show.
We had a great date night.
We had such a platonic date night. We dated so hard last night.
No, but we were also, I'm just going to say this. I don't really care. Okay. So Meg had an amazing musical improv show last night. It was so funny. It went off the rails, but it was hilarious.
It went very far off the rails.
It was so funny. That's all you're going to get. You're not going to get more context than that. And then we came back to your home and had fucking delicious pizza and delicious Caesar salad. And we watched Fall Guy. And it was like the best night ever.
It was so good.
Best night ever.
Yeah. Shout out to Fall Guy. You guys did a great job.
It was so funny.
It was very fun.
Especially, it's a good movie because if you don't work in the entertainment industry or the film industry, you can still enjoy it. But for everyone in the film industry, nod.
Easter
It was
egg,
so
Easter egg.
funny.
We loved it. Little meal penalty.
I
LOL.
love that. I definitely gave you brekkie this morning. Did you though? That was funny. Anyway,
how are you, Jamie?
I'm okay.
We both. I'm okay.
I'm okay.
we're like those sex spots from Austin Powers. I'm okay. Yeah.
Well, I am, but
yeah, I don't have the titties for that.
No, I was gonna say we're like the dog meme with the fire going all around with the cup that just says I'm fine. I'm not gonna get into super details, but I had a little bit of craziness in my personal life this past weekend.
We literally pressed record and the phone rang and she was like,
And then a little bit of chaos, but we're okay. It's a little bit of a chaotic week, but you are an amazing friend. Seriously, get yourself a Meg Buzza. Everyone get yourself a Meg Buzza and a Kristen. A Kristen and a Meg, the two of you, because you guys were just ride or dies and just like sat with me and were amazing people this weekend. So I can't thank you enough.
I mean,
I hope I have. I feel like I haven't. There's no way.
But like I was saying, that's the agenda. When something's going down, nothing else takes precedent. No. And like I was saying to you while you're going through it, as we've talked about on the pod, sometimes it can be as a friend, you're like, how do I be here for someone that is having a chaotic situation happening? And it's just being there. Yeah. I used to feel like I had to fix everything and say the right thing.
I think worry about that less and just sort of let the person be a total weirdo. God, the two of you to really, honestly, for at least 24 hours straight, which sometimes I'm like, is this different than my normal state or is this I'm not sure. Everything was just brain to mouth.
It was
the entire time. And you guys just like let me. And I was like,
sometimes ass to mouth, but mostly brain to mouth. Everything was just spewing out. Wow. Who knows? It was good. We all just wrote it out and now we're here.
And now we're here.
Things are okay.
Things are relatively okay.
Yeah. Amazing.
So
as my left eye literally is going,
you can't tell. You look great.
I don't know why it keeps twitching, friends. Tell me why.
I hate when that happens.
So weird.
It's weird.
So this is part 2 of the long COVID
thank God
tell all. Jimmy's like, next episode. I'm also ready for the next episode as I've been editing the first long COVID episode.
Thank you so much for everyone for tuning into that one and being here for Meg and just like listening to her tell her story.
Yeah, and knowing that it's not relevant to everyone, but I think there were a lot of things in there that, again, as I was watching it back, I'm like, you don't have to have long COVID for a lot of these things to really apply. But yeah, we wanted to just get it all out so people have the information. And now part 2 is going to be from the turning point moment about a year ago to now. And then we're going to tie it up with a bow and move on with more fun episodes.
Yeah, it's still fun.
It's so much fun.
Sort of. Okay, so.
Everything you say. Oh my gosh. Did we set up our studio to Lincoln Park? Maybe.
We just raged.
It was rage cage.
We had production rage cage.
Yeah, we did.
Feels good. Okay, where did we leave off?
So we had left off that I went to the edge at New Year's, and then New Year's Day was like, okay, we got to figure out the new program, because if I'm sticking around on planet Earth, we got to put something in place. So in February, I moved back to LA.
Yay.
And something I left out in the last episode, the weird synchronicity of everything was that around the holidays, my cousin had reached out, who is working at a long COVID clinic as a nurse practitioner. Right. And she had said to me, Meg, I think all your symptoms really are sounding like long COVID to me. So she was the one that sent me a bunch of literature. And of course, I'm just diving into it going, yeah, okay, more and more I'm starting to believe this might be what it is. But I still had such a hard time accepting it.
Well, I was going to say, what is your first thought when someone says to you, I think you have long COVID?
I just was like, that doesn't feels made up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and still even all the literature, they're like, maybe this is what's happening. So I didn't want to attach to it, which I said a lot in the last episode, not wanting to attach myself to things. But so anyway, the reason I bring that up is because it encouraged me to reach back out to my primary care physician in NorCal Kaiser. And I went in and saw her, and I brought in this like stack of literature. Like, I've done all my homework. I think this is what I have, self-advocacy, expecting her to go, great, here are things I can do for you. And instead she was like, honey, I'm so sorry. She literally said that, honey, I'm so sorry. You're not the first one that's come in like this. She said, we just don't have anything for you yet or right now.
To make you feel better.
To help at all. And I remember I broke down and I told her, I'm so frustrated and I know it's not your fault, but what do I do?
It's wild that there's nothing they can do.
There was nothing. And she's like, this is great. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm like, I'm not a doctor. But what she did do was she said, we actually just now at Kaiser have this virtual long COVID clinic. It's a 4-week that you can go on Zoom and be part of a community and get some resources.
Okay.
And I'm like, this sounds fucking stupid. But she signed me up for it. And it didn't start until March. This is like, it starts in 3 months. I'm like, great. So I moved to LA.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. And
one shining moment. Meg came back.
And the move put me into another crash. And it, I was just trying to like make things happen. But anyway, so finally March, this COVID clinic happens. And I'm very pessimistic. But that was when I say turning point. I think at that moment it was seeing all the slides, seeing the chat and going, yeah, this is 100% what's going on.
Yeah.
I just needed to kind of have it all codified. It needed to be in one clear PowerPoint, which it was. And it was them literally speaking my diary of, and then this happened and this happened. I was like,
oh yeah, me, finally.
Oh, finally. So I finally let it kind of integrate into, okay, I still wasn't using the language long COVID because I still couldn't vibe with it. But that's when I learned about pacing. It was the first time where they're like, okay, the only thing we can tell you is obviously eat well, take care of yourself. But pacing it's so simple. I mean, it's spoons, right? But pacing was revolutionary because at the time I didn't know why I was crashing. And I just.
Right. So you're just like, well, it can't be this thing. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
Right.
And then you're like, oh.
And being frustrated with my body and just being like, push through. Come on.
Well, especially from your background of who you are.
So yeah, I wanted to push through everything. And then of course you keep pushing yourself into a crash. And the doctor on the Zoom, what he said was, it's so important that you can try and see that wall coming, that you need to stop, because he said if you keep crashing, it's like stubbing your toe and then stubbing it over and over and over. Oof. The toe won't heal. And I was like, ugh. I don't know why. Like, I was such a like, ugh. But
because everyone knows that feeling of stubbing your toe and you're like,
ugh. And imagine re-stubbing that stub toe, just like, oh.
But with your whole body.
With your whole body. But he said, yeah, because you're basically creating an injury and then you're just re-injuring yourself. So anyway, of course I didn't fully listen because I went on to like push and crash and push and crash and push and crash, but we do our best.
Because, you know, for yourself too, you have to, like, yeah, you want to be pacing, but it's also like you already lost a year of your life.
Right.
So you're probably like, I am going to still do shit that makes me happy because you don't want to miss out.
Right.
That's such like a hard balance.
Because you were there for that where I'd be like, I want to be with the people. No. Out, in. Daytime, nighttime. Nighttime. Daytime.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what it was.
So you moved back.
And then somebody else had reached out to me and they connected me with this guy who is a pro outdoor mountain bike rider. Ooh. And with long COVID. And he had done hyperbaric chambers, oxygen chamber treatments. And he swears by it. And he got back to racing and all this shit.
Like he was healed?
Okay, like he was healed.
Whoa.
And he had one major crash after a couple months back, but like he went back to pro mountain bike racing. So I'm over here like, hello. So I started the hyperbaric oxygen chamber. I think you're in there now. I can't even remember, but you're in there for like 30 minutes to an hour.
And you're like zipped up all in it, right?
They zip you up in it. It's obviously it's a high pressure.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to increase the amount of oxygen. Mm-hmm. So obviously has healing properties. So
is that through insurance or like do you have to pay for that?
No, that was out of pocket. Oof. Yeah. Yep. And so I tried that for, I don't know, I think it was maybe 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it was 3 or 4 times a week, which they tell you is how often you need to do it.
Oh my God.
And I honestly felt no change. Oh. And then everyone was talking about infrared therapy. So I was trying a bunch of that.
Well, I remember, I'm trying to think, I don't remember exactly where this is in your timeline when this happened, but you were crashing so hard and feeling terrible, and we had started to become friends because this was like last year, right? What?
We started to become friends.
Well, like better friends than we were.
Yes.
And my go-to is, how do I fix it? How do I fix her? How to make her feel better? Because I hate when my friends feel this way. I'm always just like like this, but I want to help you. So I think there was like one day or week of the many that you were just feeling like floor.
Yeah.
And so I was like looking up all these different places and different things that you could do. And my initial thing that I found was cryotherapy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I wanted you to do cryotherapy because I was like, oh my God, that will make her feel so much better, I bet. And so I had texted our mutual friend, your roommate Julie, and I was like, do you want to chip in with me? I found this place because we're over on the east side and then Pasadena called the Muscle Lab.
Yep.
Maybe. And they have infrared, and it's basically you could get like a day
Cupping,
pass. You get a day pass. Yeah. They have compression chairs, cryo,
IVs.
all this stuff. IVs. So I was like, here, go for like a day. And then I felt really bad too because you were like, oh, I can't do cryo because we're back to my heart rate can't get high, which is what happens in cryo, right?
Well, I was worried about if I get too hot, it can push me into a crash because my heart is working.
So if you're too cold, you think that'll happen?
That's what I was worried about.
Even though it like cold usually lowers your
I was
heart
worried
rate.
About just doing any of the extremes.
Got
so
it.
Actually, if you write in, I actually don't know the correlation between cryo and POTS or PEM or whatever.
Well, I suggested it because I do feel like it helps with inflammation.
Sure.
So that's why I was like,
maybe it's still to try.
Well, I was like, fucking stick yourself in a goddamn freezer and freeze your bones and make yourself feel better. Bones.
Freeze your bones.
I just thought that would make you feel better. But anyway, but I was so happy because you ended up going and there was like nobody there, which I love. And you were like sitting in the compression chairs and like doing all that. Did you do infrared?
I did one infrared. But again, even though there wasn't heat on, I just felt crappy after the infrared. And I don't know why. So anyway, the reason
I made her feel crappy. I'm thrilled.
So I list all these modalities to share that I've tried a lot. I think I've tried most of the things that they say to try with long COVID or any of these comorbid conditions. But then, so summer I was feeling a little bit better. We were in the sun a lot. We were outside a lot. So I don't know if that's a correlation.
Well, we had mentioned our topless summer.
Topless summer.
We had topless summer.
It really was.
And you were at the pool with me almost every day and you were feeling really good.
Yeah, we got to be in the sun a lot.
We went up to Big Bear.
Yeah, Cusco booked a Ford commercial and we were in Big Bear.
Did.
And he was flopping around. in the back of the truck. And I was on the floor of the truck, just like holding his little harness, trying to keep him on his mark as Julie is flying down this dirt road.
But I bring that up because that was one of the first few times like that summer that I noticed you were feeling better, because on the last night of that trip, because Meg and our friend Julie was the one on the commercial and Meg was with her because of Cusco. And then myself and our friend Kristen, the four of us all got to go up and kind of experience this. But really,
we totally leaned to that. We were like, so if Julie gets a room and I get a room,
then we can all
go to Big Bear. So we snuck them into
but we
Big
did
Bear.
And so like
so
the two
funny.
of them are off doing the commercial, and so Kristen and I were left to our own devices running around Big Bear
weekend,
which was so silly.
On our dime. It was so great.
It was such a fun weird group trip.
Yeah, because
we
we're gone all day and then we see
separate.
you at 9 p.m. like, so how was your day?
Yeah. But on the last night, so you guys had filmed
all
early
day.
morning, all like what,
we were
like
the top
a
of a
12-hour
ski
day
resort. It
Not
was
even
we were up at
like
8,000 feet. It was crazy,
right? And then
so
but
cool.
like it was like 10 p.m. You guys came back down the mountain and we went to the bar, and I was stunned that you were like, let's go, and I was like, okay, let's go.
I know. And I probably I in those moments I'm always like, I shouldn't, but again, like we talked about,
but
I just want to be with the people.
But I also do feel like all of these moments where you do push yourself in those small moments,
sure,
if you can't stand it, you send yourself home.
Oh yeah.
And that night you were like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Speaking of which, that was like after music improv rehearsal the other night, and everyone afterwards was like, let's go to the bar.
Yeah.
And it was 10:30 or something. And of course I want to go. So
Right.
we're all like boop boop down the street, and we get to the light, and I just know that it's the wrong call. I'm like, I need to go home. And it was so cute. But I said to the group, I was like, all right, guys, you know what? Actually, I need to go home. I got to protect my energy. And a bunch of them go, save your spoon.
Yes!
I was like,
Oh my
yes!
God. I will say the multiple of you chronic community people, friends, not friends
People are
alike,
losing
out
their
there,
mind over spoons.
people have been like, spoons. I'm like, yeah. Oh my God. It's made me
people
so
love
happy.
spoons.
I love it so much. But
Yes.
I see you, so I'm saying like, but that's last summer. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, we really thought we were coming out. Last summer, I was like, oh, it's different. I remember.
Well, and then we went to Tahoe.
we went to Tahoe. So
And
we were in the mountains. I was able to like do
Guys,
some light little hikes.
We went on hikes and Meg was like, okay. And I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I know we got in the car after a hike and I just started crying so hard.
Because you hadn't been.
Yeah. Just
But
full tears.
But I also was just like, I don't know about the rest of our group, but I know that I at least was like, I'm not going to say anything.
Nobody move.
Nobody
Nobody
move.
breathe.
Nobody move. She's fine. We're on a hike. Don't say anything. But I don't know.
Peeing
it
in the
just felt
woods,
like,
living my best life.
it did feel like, and I don't know if that's a real thing actually, now that I'm bringing it up, but I did wonder if the change of the season weirdly had it, because you know how like sometimes you know, like when it rains or something, right, people's knees hurt or something.
No,
like
that's
what is it,
no, it's just high pressure. Hyperometer. The hyperometer gets heavy and your body feels like blue.
She knows science terms.
Science Jamie.
So
Science
smart.
Tobias.
Oh God. But I was wondering if maybe, and that's kind of why I've looked forward.
I'm just gonna pull your hair.
Oh my gosh.
Sex.
You can't at me.
Sorry. No. The car.
But it happened so fast.
Sorry.
No, I thought that like the changing of the season maybe had something to do with it.
And
It just was such a shift that I was like, whoa.
It was a tectonic shift. And that's why I'm even as we're coming back into summer and I'm going, I really wonder as I'm getting in the sun more.
Yeah.
I really think there was, and that feels so basic and simple. And I would love if somebody writes in, they're like, yeah, idiot, like be out with the trees and whatever.
That vitamin D.
Get that D. But no, thank you. But
This is a celibacy podcast.
welcome. Don't forget celibacy. Literally, I've had friends reach out after last episode of the Sexpectations and be like, so
Nothing.
Mormon Meg over here.
Here's the thing.
They
We're
love
not
it. They
saying
support it.
no bits. We're just saying it's got to be the right
Selective
bits.
bits.
It's got to be the right bits.
Really selective.
Okay.
How is that in every episode we somehow get back to like,
We will mention bits.
yeah, bits.
We're not going to touch them. But
Somebody
we will
else
mention them.
texted me, no context. They just texted me brain and bits.
Oh my God, that brings me so much joy.
I'm really enjoying the community is really
my brain
really
and my
crushing
bits.
it. My
I
brain
just
and
love the
my
way you
bits.
said it. My brain and my bits.
That's it. See? But so,
okay,
yeah,
so changing of the season.
There's a changing of the season, and I really do. Okay, this is such a silly thing, but when I grew up, I loved reading historic fiction, and so often, and this isn't even a fiction thing, but you read about early New York, early East Coast, people that were sickly in the Northeast would go to like warmer climates or drier climates to try and heal tuberculosis or whatever they had.
Don't people with like heart conditions or whatever, they all move to like Arizona because it's so dry and the dry heat just, or the air feels better or is better for you?
Humans have been doing this for like, they know that the environment affects your physical condition. So, So I am curious to see if this summer I start to have a really awesome comeback online moment. But so yeah, it was so weird that the summer really felt like, oh my God, am I coming out of this? And then sure, like clockwork, fall came
and it was
just like boom.
Yeah.
And I remember going back into Thunderbolt rehearsals because the year before Thunderbolt rehearsals, I was like sitting in a chair. I could barely give anything to these 2-hour rehearsals, just trying to like talk and direct. But then this past fall, I was like, she's here, she's ready to go. But I could just feel it. It was like, same thing. And then if we talked about this before, but like the show just tanked me.
Yeah.
And then of course winter was just brutal. And then this spring I have just been trying to recalibrate. And then
we sort of breezed past, but there's really, I don't know that there's that much to talk about because you were like in the fall. But at the beginning of this year we were saying you kind of start, even though you're like feeling crappy, you started to come back to maybe now I'm ready to try some new things. Maybe now I'm ready to dive back into information because at the time from the summer for 6 months plus, you were like, I'm over trying everything. I'm over reading about it. I'm over it. Right? Yeah. So you were ready to reach back out to your cousin.
Yeah. So my cousin, and this is so controversial and like all the liberals are going to turn this off right now and all the conservatives are going to be like, yeah. It's so stupid, and I don't even really know much about it or why this was so contentious in the media, and I think because it has to do with rhymes with clump. But ivermectin, I'm not over here toting ivermectin, but they have been using it a lot with people that have acute COVID to keep it from getting really, really bad. Hi, friends. It's me, Meg Buzza. I'm taking a break from me and Jamie to tell you about the sponsor for today's episode, me. Not only do I have an awesome and fun podcast that you're already listening to, but I'm also a breakthrough coach. Meg, what does that even mean? Well, Meg, are you an artist, creative, or entrepreneur feeling stuck in negative patterns, held back by limiting fears and beliefs, or unable to move forward to make your dreams come true? That's where I come in, starting with a free 15-minute one-on-one intro call. In just 4 weeks, I will help you create massive momentum, break through whatever's holding you back so we can blast open the door on your happiest and most authentic life and career. So to get started, head on over to createbreakthroughs.com. That's createbreakthroughs. I did that to myself. And as I always say, you have a unique mission that only you can fulfill. You are unlimited, and I am rooting for you. But again, my cousin who's working at a long COVID clinic, she says that she treats everyone with ivermectin and she has seen clear results. So I'm over here going, I just don't want to try something else. This was probably January where she was bringing it back up. And like Jamie mentioned, I really started to get my mind right.
Yeah, because it had also been, I feel like, quite some time since you had really tried anything like major, as opposed to just
couldn't.
Like little,
I know you're not judging. It's for anyone out there that has been doing something for a long time and I just can't do another thing.
I think you and Bree even like touched on that a little bit. Because like, God, I can only imagine having to just like keep going back to the doctor, keep going back to things, tests, poked, prodded, blood, everything.
Yeah.
You're over it.
You're over it.
Yeah. But so you kind of came out of that a little bit, right?
I came out of it and I just decided I really had to get my mind right. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago, this whole placebo, nocebo, that when you take something, you got to be in the right headspace. So I finally got back to the place of like, yes, I'm going to take this. I'm going to try it. Even though I was worried that, oh my God, what if I take ivermectin and then I like grow a third leg? Like, I was just like, so
that can only help you in life.
Everyone needs a kickstand.
Not to mention, if you did grow a third leg, again, your improv career would just like
take off. That's all she ever needed.
Right?
Yeah. Inadequate as she is, but that third leg.
I'm just saying.
Third leg Meg. I see it in lights.
I'm just saying.
Third leg Meg Broadway debut.
I
could be my own kick line.
Oh my God. Your dream. A one-woman
welcome
kick
to the
line.
Rock. Welcome to the Rockettes. Oh, that's really funny. And so I hadn't mentioned that the new treatment I've been trying is ivermectin because I was worried that people were going to be so weird about it.
You're welcome to cut what I'm about to say out. But I feel like it was controversial because there were the dopes who were, well, I'm not going to take the vaccine. So if I get COVID, I'll just take this thing and I'll feel better. And that's why I feel like it's controversial as opposed to what you and your cousin's clinic are doing, which is people who are suffering from long COVID. You're taking it to get better. You're not taking it as a quick fix. You know what I mean?
Right. They're not trying to use it as a Band-Aid. They're hoping that this is actually an
Correct.
efficacious.
So it's different.
It's different. So you take it every day for a week and then you take it once a week for 8 weeks after that. And I didn't look up the side effects. Really, I looked at a couple of the side effects to, just if you're swelling up,
death.
And, death. And then it's too late. And you know what? We had a good run. So we didn't look at the side effects because I didn't want to
get in your head about it.
My head. So, a little GI discomfort a little bit, but
we eat chickpeas, so we're used to it.
We eat so Jamie, speaking of, so literally last night I say to Jamie, where do all the chickpeas come from?
Oh yeah.
Because I went to the discount grocery store and they have all these chickpeas, but in pod. And I thought to myself, it is so sad that I have never actually seen chickpeas in their pod. I didn't even know what chickpea pods looks like. You could have held a gun to my head. I'm not going to say that. You could have.
Oh my God. Where do the chickpeas come from?
Tell me what you know. Side effects. Dead.
They're in a can.
Jamie's final words.
They're in a can.
No, actually, it looks like there's about 2 to a pod.
Oh.
Which is
like a peanut?
Like a peanut. Like a giant peanut.
The peanut family?
I don't know.
I
Legumes.
thought you were about to say you looked this
Legumes. Well, I just had a stupid first world moment of, oh my God, I've never seen what chickpeas look like in the wild.
We just accept them in the can as they are.
And then to think about where are all the chickpeas coming from? There are everywhere you go. It's like chickpea this.
Such a good point.
Chickpea crust that. Like
hummus.
There is hummus among us. There is an absurd amount of chickpeas in our diet and available.
Yeah.
If I want chickpeas, I can find them. Where have they come from? No, it's bananas.
Brought to you by Ivermectin and chickpeas.
Sponsor us. I would love to get a call from Big Chickpea.
In my mind, you know what immediately pops in my mind? Do you remember from the 90s when raisins were a big deal and those dancing raisins?
Remember all the raisins we used to eat in the 90s?
Do you remember though? Like they were dancing the four, sort of like that singing group.
Uh-huh.
But they were like the raisins. But imagine this, chickpeas. We can cut this out of the episode. Oh no.
You guys listen to Meg's Long COVID Part 2 episode?
Off the rails.
Off the rails. Wow. So I haven't had any noticeable side effects, but I also haven't had any relief or positive change.
Did your cousin at all tell you what she has seen happen as progression that maybe you could look out for? Or she said
just feeling better.
Gotcha.
The science says feeling better.
What week are you on?
I think I'm down up to 6 weeks now.
I was just curious maybe how, again, I don't know if you've asked her or if she offered how fast people felt it, or if it's like
she said it's such, and I have asked these questions and it's just so scattered and it's so based on the person and their physiology.
It's more just the overall group of
data,
people, they felt better.
Anecdotal evidence.
Gotcha. But maybe it is also the kind of thing where you finish it.
That's why,
I don't know.
And that's another, I don't know if people have this experience, but I have this experience where with medication, if I'm not noticing a change, I'm very quick to want to stop, even though I know you're supposed to finish it, see how it runs its course.
Well, we've said this so many times on this podcast, but we are such
right now
a society of instant gratification. So you expect to pop a pill and immediately, and that's just not the case.
No.
At all.
No. So I'm challenging myself to be a good patient and be patient. Isn't that funny? I think about that sometimes, that the word patient means be patient. Mm-hmm. Is that on purpose? Have you ever thought about that?
Like, did hospitals make that up because they're the worst?
They're like, be patient. Doctors just got so sick of sick people being like, heal me faster. And they're like, patience.
How about not that?
Patience.
Find me a hospital where you get seen immediately and you get all the things you need immediately.
But isn't that weird? Isn't that funny? I feel like I need to look this up right now of why is patient and patient. Okay, because I am the etymology queen and I have to know, why do we say be patient and also you are a patient? Is it because patients need to be patient? Check this out. So patient comes from Latin patiens, we think, from patior, which means to suffer or bear. The patient in this language is truly passive, bearing whatever suffering is necessary and tolerating patiently the interventions of the outside expert. So to be patient is to
bear the suffering, but also be patient in what the experts are giving you or telling you.
That's so weird.
So
that
it is also
redundantly use that word in our language.
Yeah. Well, as we know, the English language is awful.
Strange. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, there you have it. There's your etymology for the day. I loved picking that one apart.
So literally, you have to be patient. Be a good patient.
I'd be a patient. Mm-hmm. But so I think we're about caught up. I mean, the first part one was obviously like very
in-depth and
intense.
Wild, yeah.
But it has been so much better. I had a really good April that felt like I was having huge improvements. Mm-hmm. I think I overdid it. All of May has been a slog.
Well, I will also say, and you mentioned this a little bit, but a little over a year ago is when you were sort of first told about pacing.
Yeah.
And you are not someone who wants to pace anything, because you are very much like we keep saying, be out with the people. I want to do things. I want to do it all. And bing, bang, bing, bing, boom. Like 1,000%, because that's who you are. So it's understandably taken some time for you to be like, fine, I will pace myself if I have to. So but I will also say, like, coming back to the video that we mentioned from, I don't know what the school, UT, a month ago, only like a month ago, it was brought to you.
Yeah.
Where they said you really have to end the constant crash cycle.
That's what I'll leave people with, of like encouragement. It's kind of exciting. I, for almost a year, was just like, I cannot look this up anymore. I just can't look at it.
Yeah.
And then I think because I had fully committed of, okay, I'm going to try the ivermectin and I'm going to be a great patient, that I spontaneously went on Google and said, where are we at with long COVID? What's it looking like? And this video popped up right away from UT. And it was so exciting because he literally said, people are getting better. People are getting better.
Yeah.
It's about a 1.5 to 2 year window, which we're hitting 2 years next month.
Yep.
So I was like, okay. And then he said that you get to about 80-90% recovery, where a lot of the major shit is done, which, as I mentioned last episode, there was some like major shit. But he said the last 10-20% is just getting people out of this post-exertional malaise crash cycle.
But that it's like the last stage.
It is. It's the final stage.
Which like sucks, because it's so frustrating and it is painful, but we were so excited because we were like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
It's the last fucking phase. If you can just make it through this.
Yeah.
And at this point, I feel like if you've made it through all that other shit, mentally, physically, all of it, you can do it. You can. It feels like there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
It did. It felt for the first time of, oh my God, I'm going to walk away from this thing.
Yeah.
And I have decided that, and we've talked about mental fortitude and being clear. Mm-hmm. I have decided that I am fully in recovery. My body is just catching up. And that was hard this month because it did not feel that way. And I did get discouraged a couple of times where you just go there of like, am I not going to? No,
but you know what? Every month isn't going to be, honestly, if you like forget your physical pain, as humans, if you just think about it, like we can try to say, I'm going to have the best week ever or the best month ever. Fuck it, like the best day ever. And then like you go and you're just like, wow, this day was terrible. So like we can't plan anything. So I think having a bad month is like, okay, on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, like as we're recording this, it's Memorial Day. It's literally Memorial Day. Summer, best season ever, is about to start. So on to the next one.
Season of
Love.
Hired. Booked.
Thank you.
Booked on Broadway.
But yeah, so moving forward with your new mindset and
yes. So to tie it all up with a bow, I would have to say that, and Brie and I have talked about this, you and I have talked about this, but I'm not walking away from this experience with regret. I'm not walking away feeling like I've lost time because don't let yourself go there, people. Don't be like, oh, I've lost years. Everything has value. And that's speaking from the Buddhist perspective, and accept that or don't accept that for yourself. But accepting that makes things feel better. But nothing is wasted. All of our best moments don't have any different value than some of our most difficult moments. Yeah. Because this is, and I talked about this with you a bit, but you know, the winter of your life in Buddhism, we say that the winters are what really prepare you for the spring, that the intensity and the darkness of winter is what can fortify your life so that you can blast into spring stronger and at a next level of your life.
This is also becoming a Sex and the City podcast because you talked last episode or 2 episodes ago with Brie about
relevant. It's our generation.
It is with Samantha when she was going through cancer, but like one of the best episodes was the head shaving. Incredible television.
We loved it.
But when she's going through chemo and she's just doesn't want to have sex with Smith, right? And she feels like in her head about it because she is the sex queen, but he like says to her, don't worry, it'll happen again when it happens again. And he buys her the flowers that don't bloom until they're ready. And it was just like grass. And she's just, oh my God, they're so beautiful. And he was like, did you read the card? And
Smith, I don't know who wrote this character, but talk about writing the most ideal freaking character or person.
Shaves his beautiful hair for her and then buys these incredible flowers and is just like,
on your schedule, honey.
But I'm just saying it's such a beautiful, and actually, this is so silly, but like,
are you saying that I'm about to sexually bloom?
Maybe.
Stay tuned.
No, but I was going to say one of my most favorite stories ever and from Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh, I love chicken soup.
It might have been for the Teenage Soul or the Soul. I don't remember. But this girl basically, I think she was in college, but she's in a class and they're all supposed to bring in something personal and share a story. And she brought in a photo of her and her grandma who had passed away that she was very close to. And they were at this lilac festival. And she starts telling the story about how they went, and she embarrassingly cries in this class. And she's so humiliated. And she like doesn't know any of these people in the class. And she's like, great, I don't know them, but I'm going to be the girl that cried in class. And it's so stupid. She leaves. Comes back to the next class, and on her chair was a bag of lilacs. Aww. And inside, I'm getting chills thinking about it. Inside was a card that said, we will find our right to be. Until then, lilacs bloom every spring. And it's just like one of the, I got a little bit chills. I know. Honestly, I sometimes think about that quote a lot when I'm feeling like really low. It's just so beautiful. We will find our right to be. And until then, lilacs bloom every spring. And it's like,
winter always turns to spring. Never throughout history has winter ever gone back to autumn. Is the Buddhist
But you're just,
quote.
You're just, and actually, if you think about it, guys, when you're in, what do we do when we're in winter?
Hunker down.
Or bears. Hibernate. Wait till spring. I'm just saying.
What do we do in winter?
Bears.
You're such a poet, Jamie.
Lilacs. Bears.
Well, I'm inspired. Next time you're having a hard time, be like, Jamie, just don't forget bears.
Now we're gonna say it. But I'm just saying, like, things.
They eat a lot of crap. They get really constipated, and then the spring comes. They poop out the plug.
Woo,
they're super skinny. They have like revenge body.
They're like, we're gonna fuck shit up in the woods.
I'm about to poop out my long COVID bear pellet and just fuck shit up in the woods.
I'm just saying, if
that's have the best spring.
If there's nothing else to leave you with, guys, it's that
bear energy. It was started as squirrel energy, and now it is hashtag bear energy.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many metaphors and things that it's true. I'm moving past you to where you have to hold on and just like be patient in the winter. Oh, good. But be patient in the winter so that you can bloom and things can come more alive in the spring and the summer.
That's it.
So,
wow. I love it. What a poetic ending.
I loved it.
I loved it.
You're welcome.
I'm keeping bear forever.
Bears.
Bears. Okay, because we can't walk away without knowing where chickpeas come from.
We looked up where chickpeas come from, quam. And
sorry?
if this is not a little bow on this goddamn episode, you ready?
Bears?
Chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans, are a cool season crop that grow best in moderately warm summers with full sun and well-drained soil.
Okay.
A cool season crop that grows best in warm summers.
I'm moving into my chickpea season. You almost just swallowed the microphone. You're like, oh. That's right. It is no longer hot girl summer. It is chickpea summer.
Chickpea plants are bushy.
Well, hopefully I don't have a bushy summer. You know what? Like we said in Expectations.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
And can grow up to 2 feet tall with feathery leaves and small white or reddish flowers.
Aw. Where are they indigenous to?
Oh. Today, U.S. chickpea production is located in Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, and California.
Oh, so that's why we're making our own chickpeas.
We're making our own chickpeas.
Wow. I think we're about to get sponsored by Big Chickpea.
We love chickpeas here at Chronic.
The podcast. We like to eat them every day.
This C is actually for chickpea.
God, it's all perfect.
It's so great.
Kismet. Well, on
Meg.
all those notes, Jamie.
Yes.
Thank you for helping us wrap up the long COVID.
No, thank you for telling us and telling the entire Chronic community about what you've been going through, your journey, because this is really brave of you, and I know you like really. It's true.
Everyone keeps calling me brave,
but you really thought about it, and you weren't sure if you
Yes.
wanted to tell everyone and go into such detail.
Because I don't want to be I really have to say this to the people. Moving forward, I don't like being asked about it. How's it all going? Because I don't want to engage in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do ask, I'll just say we don't need to talk about it. But I don't
because you don't want to be the sick girl.
I don't want to be the sick girl. I don't want people to like worry about me, and I don't want people to
treat you like you're fragile.
Yeah, I just want to be in the world normally. So that has been why I felt like I've been in the closet for so long with it. But now it feels good to go, this is what it's been. This is what it is. We're moving on. I will let you know what my boundaries are. I'll let you know what I need. The end.
And now for those that are listening or in the future.
I'm just Meg.
I'm just Meg.
And I'm enough. And I eat lots of chickpea stuff.
But on that note, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for tuning in, for listening to any of our episodes. Honestly, as a reminder, you can listen to us every single Wednesday. We have new episodes coming out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. Honestly, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. We are everywhere at chronic_pod. If anything Meg mentioned really resonates with you, make sure you want to email us. We'd love to hear from you about anything. You can email us at podchronic@gmail.com. And on that note, anything else I forgot?
I think you crushed it.
All right. You're the best.
You're the best.
Later, guys. We'll see you next
Bye.
time. Bye.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Again, the fucking balloons.